Hello my friends, this is 12th issue of the weekly links and we again going to talk about Java. What's on my plate for today? Micronaut, Entity Graphs and Spring Data, Guava Joiner and Splitter, Arc Unit and Meetings. My name is Alexander Barmin and this is my channel. If you like my videos and want me to continue, please give me a like, put a comment and subscribe to my channel. Let's get started. In the weekly links I talk a lot about Spring Framework, but actually it is not the one single framework available on the market. There are others, for example Micronaut. And recently Micronaut 4 was released and Oracle played here a significant role as a key engineering partner. What's new in this version? Micronaut serialization as a compile time replacement for Jackson. API is compatible with Jackson's annotation, and the main difference here is that Micronaut serialization adds compile time checking for correctness when using Jackson binding, which is more type safe. Obviously, better integration with GraalVM, no one I hope surprised. Also, Micronaut 4 has now improved compatibility with Oracle Cloud. Micronaut is now modular, which makes microservices smaller and reduces startup time. Okay, time for significant improvements and important things. Virtual threads with JDK 19 are now supported, HTTP layer is rewritten to use it, and it offers up to 15% throughput improvement. More details are in the article. And by the way, what framework do you use? Put your answer in the comment. JPA as a specification and Hibernate as an implementation are the most popular way to access data in Java. We store data in relational databases, and Hibernate makes our life much easier by providing convenient API for dealing with it. From the very beginning, data access optimization has been one of the main goals of Hibernate developers. It was necessary to eliminate unnecessary queries and extract only data that is required. On the other hand, we have different scenarios in if data is not required for one scenario, it might be required for another. The first problem is easily solved with lazy properties. You don't need data, it is not loaded, and well, when you need it, it will be loaded. On the other hand, it can create n+1 query problem. To overcome these complexities, JPA 2.1 introduced a very important feature, Entity Graph, which allows to define which data to be extracted in different scenarios. So, having similar entities but different graphs, you may have different queries. Okay. We don't ordinarily use Hibernate directly, it comes hand in hand with Spring Framework and Spring Data, and Spring Data supports Entity Graph starting version 2.1, and here we have two annotations, Entity Graph and Named Entity Graph. To start using it, we have two options. Put Entity Graph annotation on top of the method of Spring Data repository and define a attribute path to extract. Another use case is to put named entity graphs annotation on top of your entity, define graphs for names, and next refer them by using entity graph annotation. In case if it is necessary to extract same data with different dependencies, we may create additional methods in our repository and use various entity graphs there. Which is convenient, but only up to some extent. We can end up in the situation where we have too many methods which extract the same data. To solve it, we can use Spring Data JPA Entity Graph library that allows to provide graph name as a parameter. Hibernate is a powerful tool and it should be used wisely. In case if you're extracting the same data in different manner, for example for grids, it might be worth thinking about stateless session and projections. Suppose there are two main data types and structures we use the most often, strings and collections. And we have many good libraries that makes our life much easier. In case if you're a big fan of Google Guava, I have good news for you. A very good brushing up article from Beldung on Joiner and Splitter. As it is clean from the name, we will talk about tools which allow to convert string to collections and back collections to string. Let's take a look at Joiner first. Idea is straightforward here. Defining a separator and next providing a collection to join together. Next use case is to join maps, which is a bit more complicated because we need not only a separator but also key value delimiter, like in this scenario using equal mark to join string and integer. More sophisticated cases are also supported. We can, for example, provide our own custom function for joining nested elements or ask joiner to skip nulls if necessary. Opposite operation can be performed using splitter. Need to set a delimiter and next we can split the original string using it. If necessary, we can also trim pieces. And also we can split map into strings, and splitter allows us to split them back, but using two separators, one for element and another for key values. Separator should not be just a string, it can be a regular expression, and we, for example, can provide a number of characters to be included into the slice. And to be honest, I'm familiar with both Guava and Apache libraries, and I found Guava more convenient in certain scenarios just because it is more flexible in comparison with Apache libraries. So, what libraries do you use? We all know that it is necessary to write unit tests, because they make our life much easier, software more reliable and maintainable in long term. But what if I tell you that it is also possible to enforce some architectural rules and document them as code? To enforce and document architecture rules, we can utilize ArcUnit. It has many capabilities. Let me highlight some very useful use cases. For example, you may want to enforce layered architecture in the application and want to make sure, for example, that REST layer is interacting with database layer only via service layer. You can write a test that will check it. Architecture evolves over time and it is not always possible to document every single decision on Wiki or Confluence, but you can do it in code by adding checks. For example, you want to enforce creation of local date time only with the clock parameter. You can write a test for it and add some meaningful name for the test, which will explain the reasoning behind this decision. Other use cases are also available. For example, do not use classes annotated with deprecated annotation. You can even add a test that will check other tests and make sure they have assertions. So please read the article to get more details and use cases for ArcUnit. Have you ever been irritated by meetings? You are starting your workday and next you realize that you have to attend a meeting in 2 hours. What will you do? Actually, it depends. If you work on the manager schedule when your day is sliced by 1 hour intervals, you already get used to it. But in case you're working on maker's schedule, you may not be so productive in the morning because that's relatively short interval, like 2 hours, and it may not be enough to accommodate what you plan to do. I found the article about different kinds of schedules and suggest you to read it as well. And to be honest, I do my best, for example, in order not to irritate and disrupt people as often as I want. I try to, let's say, do maybe a couple of short, but let's say as meaningful and as useful meetings I can in order not to disrupt their flow. But what's your approach here? That's it for today. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if so, please give me a like, subscribe to my channel, and see you next week. Bye!